Hey everybody. So in this week's Daf Yomi, one of the topics that the Gemara has been discussing is tzedakah, giving charity. And one of the ideas that it raises, which is a very practical one, which I'm sure crosses your mind sometimes, is whether or not the person making the ask is legitimate. Are they really legitimately in need of the thing or not? Or is it a scam of some sort? So the Gemara talks about that we need to investigate a little bit into each and every individual, but it depends on what they're asking for. And over here, there's a machloket, there's a difference of opinion whether or not we do an investigation or whether we just go, no, just give the person, don't look into anything. And it depends of whether or not they're asking for clothes or for food. Clothes or for food. One opinion is that if they're asking for clothes, we don't investigate because we can see right away the guy, the man or the woman, they're in a very degraded state. They don't have enough clothes. Whatever they're wearing, let's say, is really bizayon, it's embarrassing and such. So we don't look into that. We see them in their degraded state right then and there, and so we give them something. If they're asking, on the other hand, for food, then they're not in this degraded state according to this first opinion, and so therefore we have to take some time to look into it. But of course, there's the other opinion that says, no, the exact opposite. A person who's asking for food, they're hungry, they're mitzvah, they're in pain right now. We have to give them the food without asking any questions. When it comes to clothes, they're not necessarily in that state of immediate pain, and so therefore we should look into it. But the bottom line here is, yes, it's legitimate to look into and to vet whether or not this person is legitimately in need of the thing or not. There's a process that we have in our day and age today. We have people who come into Aish and to other institutions as well. And so it's set up a lot of communities. They'll vet the person, they'll look into them, they'll check the past, they'll check other places that they've been to, and they'll give them a tu'udah. They'll give them a certain certificate, if you will, and it explains their situation. And it's not open-ended. They give it to them for a certain amount of time, and that's the first thing I look at when someone comes in here to Aish and asks for money. I remember once there was a guy who there's a rabbi's chat that we have here in the neighborhood, and I got word of someone that went to another community, Lakewood community, very significant, large Jewish community, and he was a scam artist. He was able to get literally hundreds of thousands of dollars out of people over there before they found out that he was a complete fraud. At any rate, so this picture went around of this person. And lo and behold, like that day or the very next day, this guy walks into Aish. And I had the picture on my phone, and I said, "Wait, is this you?" And he goes, "Yeah, that's me." You know, he didn't know what the chat was. I said, "Well, then you need to get out of here." And I announced to everybody, this guy's a scam artist and such. I ended up doing more homework on the individual. Somehow I got his name, I forget how, and looked him up and Googled him, this, that, and the other. He was involved in a lawsuit and such, but there was actually a 501c3, a nonprofit organization that he had set up. This guy was good. And he had 1 year, not recently, but a couple of years ago, there's a thing called GuideStar. You could look up different nonprofit organizations. This guy raised hundreds of thousands of dollars. He was really terrific. I should have hired him as a fundraiser for Aish. But at any rate, you have to definitely check into people whether or not that they're legit. When it comes to, but the bottom line here is it's better to err on the side, to make a mistake that you're doing the mitzvah rather than not doing the mitzvah. Meaning, if it's something which is a very small amount, obviously we're not talking about like large gifts, but a very small amount where you're coming and people are they're asking, you're giving them $1, let's say, or in Yerushalayim, in Jerusalem, where you walk around the city, there's always people. So it's a good idea to have some small change, to have a bunch of shekels in your pocket over there. The idea of just giving a person $1 or $2 or whatever, a few shekels, better to make a mistake that you're doing the mitzvah than to make the mistake that you're not doing the mitzvah. What's it costing you? It's costing you so little. So on situations like that, my general attitude is just give the person $1, give the person a couple shekels, end of story. If they're legit, if they're not legit, big deal. Who cares? What's the worst thing that you did? You tried to do a mitzvah and you lost $1 or $2, you lost a shekel or two. not the end of the world. And then there's what I've mentioned before of the spiritual bucket list. One of the things that I mentioned on there that I've spoken up before a number of times is every once in a while, it's a nice idea to give like the person at the side of the road, give them something significant, give them $20, give them $50, give them something significant, because the bottom line is that amount of money won't make a dent into your life. It's not going to change your life. But for this person who they're out on the street, $20, that makes their day. I've mentioned before, I've had a number of incidents where really amazing reactions that I've gotten from some people giving that sort of money. But once again, the bottom line over here is when it comes to tzedakah, it's a tremendous mitzvah. It's a fantastic mitzvah. Yes, there are people who take advantage of it in an improper way and scamming the public. But again, better to err on the side of doing the mitzvah, even if the person might be a scam artist, again, when it comes to these small amounts. Have a good Shabbat.